Hey guys, thanks for jumping into another live stream. Thanks for those of you who are watching after the live stream. We appreciate you guys jumping in as well. Today, we're going to be talking about how to take your offline business online. And today, it's even more important because I think tomorrow, at least in Texas, they're allowing retailers to do like retail to go. So we're going to talk about how to take your offline business online and how to make it stress-free. So enjoy. Roll that footage? Roll that intro. All right. Hey, guys. So we're going to jump into this, but first we should probably, depending on if you've ever tuned into one of our live streams or have heard of us before, you should probably know who you're talking to. So I want to introduce ourselves. My name's Aaron.
And my name is Christian, for those Spanish listeners.
Nice. Shout out. Are you going to be translating like each thing that you say into Spanish as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Sí, por supuesto.
Okay. Oh, see, that's actually pretty good. A not bad translation there. We're gonna probably have to keep the sophisticated stuff to a couple of sentences so people can catch up who are not Spanish speakers. But that's good. I like it.
So, what are we talking about today?
All right. We are talking about how to take your offline business online. And I think we could talk about service-based businesses, but I think we're going to predominantly focus on those product-based businesses. So like think about those boutiques, think about like coffee shops who sell coffee and things other than coffee, obviously tea. Think about those like I don't know, those equipment stores that maybe sell glasses or like anything like that. I'm just thinking of like McKinney Square. I don't know what other kind of products based companies are out there. There's a lot. Popcorn, that's another one. There's specific, but yeah, those people who have foot traffic, who sell a product that can be shipped. Let's just say it that way. If it can be shipped in the mail, that's what we want. That's who we're talking to today. That's who we're trying to help.
Not even that. I mean, I would say even businesses who want to set up something quickly, and I know we're maybe a little bit behind. We should have published this episode or done this episode a little bit earlier on. But businesses that want to provide with curbside pickup, right? I'm thinking even an ice cream shop. I don't know, like you want to buy a pint of ice cream and pick it up in store. Like, okay, then you can set up a super simple Shopify store, get it up and running in a couple days, and just offer curbside pickup whenever you go through the checkout. So there's not necessarily any shipping involved. It's just more a easier way for your customers to purchase your product without having to interact with you. You're able to pick up your favorite ice cream.
Yeah, I think that so somebody who does this really well, and I saw that today, they've kind of been innovative, and I remember working with them, and they were super innovative, was Tiff's Treats that's down in like Austin. That's where they started. They've always done cookie delivery, and it's always been cashless. Like you can't even pay with cash in their stores, I don't think anymore. But they have an amazing delivery system and products that you can purchase online and deliver to people, like you're saying. Obviously they ship to multiple locations, but that's just another option that they have is, hey, go on there, purchase it online, and you don't even have to go to their store. I think they just come out to your car. Actually, I don't think I know. I bought something from them. They just came out to my car and dropped it off. But yeah, that's a good point. So it doesn't have to just be something that you have to ship. It could be that food supplier, especially locally.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to be talking about some top level type things and things to consider whenever transitioning from offline to trying to set up something where people can purchase online. Obviously, there's a lot of little technicalities, especially when you're setting everything up for the first time. But just kind of want to give an overview of the steps or the things that you have to take into consideration whenever you want to go from offline into some sort of online platform. I also want to mention that we have our guest slots open, I would say. So right now, Aaron and I are doing a Zoom call and just pushing it live on Facebook. So if you are interested in this topic, or if you have questions or you want to be live with us on Facebook, then we have a comment down below where it has the Zoom link. So you can just click on that and Aaron will be able to let you in. We also have the Zoom link on screen right now, hopefully still right now, but
Yep.
and we'll try to do one person at a time and just kind of stay in the waiting room until it is your turn. We can talk about, online businesses. We can talk about if you have an online store, if you have any questions about your online store, or if you have more specific questions about some of the things that we're talking about, or if you have anything interesting to say about the topic today.
Yeah, and I think that one other thing. So as you were saying that, I was mentioning, or I was thinking that if you're jumping in right now, I just want to encourage you to leave a comment and let us know you're here. I see that there's like 6 or 7, at least 7 or 8. I don't know. I can't see the total number here right now, but I know at the time there was quite a few people jumping in here live. I know people jump in and out. So if you are in here and you are listening with audio right now, make sure to leave a comment. Let us know who's there. We can't see anybody, so we can only see the comments. And if you're watching after the replay and you're getting this far into it, make sure you comment and just say replay so we can at least know that you're there and we can engage with you that way too. But yeah, we'd love for you to, if you have a specific question about your business going online, like Christian said, hit that Zoom link and then we'll let you in here and be cool. I did see somebody do a like, which was good. Liking or commenting will work. We will be able to see that. So appreciate it. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I think there's about 6 people in here. So, and what Christian said earlier is there's going to be a lot of like steps, or not a lot of steps. There's a couple of things you have to make happen, but we want to try to make those as simple as possible in the sense that don't overcomplicate this. So, probably the easiest place for you to go and take your store online is to use something like either Facebook, but that's not even really a website, but using something like Shopify. I think that Christian probably knows this better than I do. I think they're waiving their monthly fee, at least for the next 30 days or something like that. So you can get a store online and running without having to pay. I don't know. Do you remember anything on that free trial or not?
90 days. So they typically have a 14-day free trial and they're extending it to 90 days. All you have to do is just sign up through their website, just shopify.com. And yeah, so for the next 3 months, 3 months, you will have a Shopify for free.
Dang. Okay. So 3 months. That's crazy. I see Helen left a comment. She said, thanks for doing this. Absolutely, Helen. If you have a specific question, click on that link. You can do it from your phone. You can do it from desktop. Doesn't matter. And you can come in here and jump in here and ask any questions specific to your business. And she also said, I think you can also set up a shop on your Facebook business page. That is true. Absolutely. And I think that that's really what we're trying to say here is that long term for the business, it's going to make more sense to do something like Shopify because it has a lot of opportunity to grow with you. Not that Facebook couldn't, but the goal is to just get it live. So don't worry about it being the most amazing looking site or that you have all of your products on there. You should focus on, depending on how many you have, which is kind of another little tip, to focus on your top selling products. We have some people we're working with right now that I think they have like hundreds, if not, after SKUs and stuff, almost thousands of products. And it could take them months to get online versus, hey, look, these are our top sellers. Let's get them online because we want to have more sales right now versus waiting. Because right now time is even more of a valuable asset.
Yeah. So, I guess we jumped into number 2. I think the part of like number 1 was just kind of recapping that was, finding a platform that works for you. We heavily talked about Shopify, but, there's other things like WooCommerce and BigCommerce and potentially even Etsy. But obviously Etsy, not necessarily a full-fledged Shopify or not Shopify e-commerce platform. Mm-hmm. But it's just you have to look at the type of features that you want within your platform, and the only reason why we heavily promote, I guess, Shopify is just the ease of use and how easy it is for you to get up and running. I mean, if you dedicate 2-3 days just setting up your Shopify store, you can have that up and running and selling items in 2-3 days, easy. Obviously, from that, it's that next point, which is selling your top products. So if you do carry a large catalog of products, then just focusing on those bigger top selling items right away would definitely be our recommendation, and then worrying about adding all the extra stuff later. One of the most time consuming things when you're setting up your store is adding products, dealing with barcodes, dealing with product imagery, and all those things, dealing with collections and categories and all this stuff. So definitely just picking your, I don't know, top 50 products will be more than enough, especially if you're just starting out. So highly recommend to look at your products and look at, some of the things that you can move online faster.
I was reading an article earlier today or yesterday or something. It was Mark Cuban, and he was talking about people selling online. And there's so you see a lot of like t-shirt apparel companies and hat companies that are now selling like the masks, which is good. But he made a good point. It's like, okay, go where the market's at. But at the same time, if everybody's going that direction, the competition just went through the roof. So when everybody's going right, how can you go left? So if you're offering a product to the market, or maybe you're able to pivot your business a little bit, maybe it's coffee and you just package it up differently. Think about a unique way that you can offer your product online versus following what everybody else is doing, because you can stand out a little bit. So I would say that take that with a grain of salt. But I thought it was a good point when he was talking about, Mark was talking about selling your products online. He's like, you should definitely adapt and pivot your business, but at the same time, how can you pivot to your specialty or your expertise to still stand out versus just doing what everybody else does? All right.
Quick shout out to Matthew Puckett, who's watching, one of our top fans on our live videos. And also my aunt, Tia Lynn, she's watching too. Shout out.
Nice. I didn't see Matthew comment. Did he comment?
No, he just joined. I saw him come in.
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, welcome, Matthew. I know that he enjoys the live videos versus the premiere videos. He, like I said, he was one of our top comments, so we appreciate the feedback that he can ask questions live. Matthew, if you'd like to jump on live with us, you can hit that Zoom link and ask a question specifically. Christian's making a face, so maybe it's open for everybody but Matthew. We know our top fan.
No, Matthew's more than welcome here. So.
Okay, he is. I think I put you into a corner where you have to answer that, or you have to say that. But no, we appreciate the support, Matthew. So back to taking your offline business online. I think one thing that would make it a little bit easier, a lot easier anyway, is think about that customer support. And I don't know if Helen's still on here or not, but one thing I know about your business, Helen, and I don't know if Christian knows about you, but I was looking on here. She offers like a play gym for kids to go and literally, like, there's a sensory room. There's a bunch of cool stuff that goes on there, which is really cool. And that's an experience. I think that the people, and like, she could offer the blocks, and she could offer like those products online to sell them. But one thing that they're not going to get is the experience of that customer service to like explain how to use the products or how to get that. But one thing that you could do is add that chat support, or add like a 15-minute like explanation video or something like that. So whatever that is for your business, I think that the tip here is that you need to make sure that you're focusing on really good customer service and how to treat your customers online how you would offline, because they would be able to get those questions answered. Like, hey, what's good sensory toys to play with? You could answer for them, that they wouldn't necessarily get the answers to those questions for them online. But if you offered a video or like an FAQ or something like that to help them, I think you'll get more purchases, and it just enhances that customer service.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from the get-go, offering things like free returns, if you're doing products, free return, free shipping, also something that's simple that Shopify doesn't necessarily promote or actually has, you have to include a different app or a plugin, would be the ability to track your orders. So after you purchase something, just giving you that UPS or USPS or FedEx tracking number, so that you can actually know where your package is at. Just different little things like that. They definitely go a long way. So, I mean, customers are very, very accustomed to I would say Amazon will be the biggest retailer online. So anything that you see that Amazon is doing, try to replicate. Try to do the exact same thing, obviously within your means, and within the means of Shopify and the additional apps and plugins and different things that you can connect to. But I would look at it that way. I would look at the fact that almost 90% of your customers are going to be accustomed to buying online, and more than likely they've already purchased something on Amazon. So they know the experience of going through purchasing an item through Amazon, and all of that. So it's not like they're expecting that from you, but to some extent, you need to be able to provide some of that same level of customer service, because that's what they're accustomed, whenever they go online to buy things.
And I think that what you're saying there also made me think that about something we talked about earlier, which you said, like categories and all these products and stuff. One thing that Amazon made famous, or made a lot of money off of a long time ago, was like 3 clicks to purchase kind of thing. So like if they go to your website and they know that they want this product, like let's just say coffee, or like let's just say a dress. If they want this dress, they should be able to click on the product, add to cart, and then purchase. Maybe it's one more step, but that's what Amazon did really well. And it's just kind of some inside information for y'all, is that the more clicks that you have to have, the more chances that somebody's going to abandon your cart. So to Christian's point, just uploading your products, putting in the right category, and then don't add a bunch of other sophisticated things to it right now. The goal is to just let people see your amazing products and make sure that you have a good experience, and then let them check out and purchase, because they don't want to get confused. And I think that's what Amazon does really well. They're like, oh, you used to shop for this before, or like, hey, you have this product to get a product. Do you want to shop again? So it makes it only 2 clicks. But if you go there, right now, and I'm looking for a cell phone cover, I can find cell phone cover, click it, add to my cart, purchase. And I honestly have my information saved with Amazon, but still, and I think that's possible with Shopify too. You can save information potentially, if you're like a repeat.
Yeah, I think you have to put in I think it tracks either your phone number or your email. Yeah. And you just put that in and it pulls all your information.
Yes.
Also want to say that and I learned this month actually, on a Facebook group. Someone was talking about changing your contact page a little bit and just making a few tweaks in there. And 2 things that they did was, one, if you list your phone number on your contact page or anywhere on your website, just right underneath, put the time and availability that you will always answer that phone.
Ooh,
meaning that anytime that a customer sees that phone number and they see that, oh, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, they're going to answer my phone, they're going to be more likely to call you because they know exactly when they can call you, versus just having a random number, and they don't know exactly if you're going to answer, or who's going to answer, or when they're going to answer, or what's going to happen afterwards. So always providing a little bit more information to a phone number that's listed, and just saying, hey, we're available from this time to this time, just literally right underneath the phone number. And then the other thing was, right there on the contact page, instead of having a info or hello, they recommend just having a real person. So having Aaron at BitBranding.co, and then saying, how can I help you? It's a more personal approach, and it makes you think, and obviously you're seeing that there's an actual person behind this email. It's not just going to like a random inbox where a lot of people might have access to. So it just makes it a little bit more of a personable experience, and a better way to handle, people trying to contact you, because they know who they're talking to, they know when they can talk to you. So I thought it was interesting. It doesn't just necessarily apply to e-commerce stores; it applies to every single website out there. So just little tweaks that you can do on your website to improve customer service.
Yeah, and I was going to say that I actually saw that the other day, and I was like, oh, this is nice. One other thing that I thought was helpful was not having an 800 number, because I feel like, to me, that just seems very, not corporate-y, but like I'm going to be waiting on hold a long time. I think that's what I get. Like if I call this 800 number, it's going to be like listening to something and then I got to listen to something else. And it's like, I understand it's more efficient. So it's fine for the customer, but it just, I feel like I'm going to be on the phone for 15 minutes to ask a simple question. It's just easier for me to go somewhere else and buy versus like what you're saying. It's like 9 to 5 and it's a local area code. Even if I'm buying it from like New York, it doesn't matter. I just know that it's a local number and not an 800 number. And for me, I would be much more likely to be like, hey, look, what's the return policy on this? I know online you didn't really have a lot of description, and I talked to a real person about it. So good point. We do have 10, 12 people online right now. So if you're watching right now, please leave a comment, let us know, or at least like this so we know that you're jumping on, because we can't see anything other than numbers. And if you're interested in asking a question about how to take your business online, click that Zoom link and we'll get notified here on Zoom and bring you in, and you can come on here and ask the question. And it's basically like a free, hands-on consulting hour. We will not physically be there, but we can virtually give you some consulting time. So if you're jumping in live like right now, just make sure to leave a comment. And if you have questions, go ahead and drop them below or join the Zoom link. My screen is kind of free. Oh, there we go. My screen was starting to freeze a little bit. All right. So assuming that you've been in business for a little while, I would say at least 6 months. Hopefully this is not you starting your business 3 or 4 months ago and then we go through this pandemic, because that would not be fun. And I do not wish that upon anybody. I can't imagine us trying to start our business. Like just say we quit our business in October and then we kind of like full-fledged like February. So that we would have been like a month in. So if this would have happened in 2016 for us, we would have been in a lot of trouble versus like right now. Cause it's just a couple months in. So it'd be, I guess, scarier. So I can't imagine. I know businesses are dealing with this difficulty on different levels, but I know the ones who just started, how hard it can be starting it out. So that being said, assuming you've been in business for a little while, you've probably built up an email list. Maybe you have Facebook followers. Maybe you have people who are interacting with you. You should tell them that you're moving to something online. I'll keep going back to that coffee shop, but if you have Facebook followers there, or if you have that retail pickup, I think what Christian was talking about earlier is even better. Like you now have this store where you can go and purchase things. It makes it easy for them. They want to support you because they're a local business. You don't have to use something like Grubhub or DoorDash or something. We support them too, but they could purchase online and pick up to go at your location. The profits all go to you. And if you don't tell your customers about that, they're not going to know to do that. I think, myself included, we get into this like this tunnel of we know our business so well, and we don't realize that other people don't know our business that well. So we have to continuously remind them that, hey, look, we do this. Hey, look, we offer this. So it's like, oh, I didn't know you guys did pick up. I didn't know you guys did delivery. I didn't know you guys had an online store. So you have to let them know. And you have to, do it more than just once. You can't just say it one time and be like, hey, by the way, we sell things online now. Everybody come and do it right now. So I don't know. That's just for me anyway. That's the way I kind of got locked into that tunnel vision of explaining.
Matthew said, not a good time to get a new job in a new state either. Talking about a friend.
Talking about a friend. Huh. Well, it depends on what the business is, Matthew. I would say if you're in the commercial cleaning business, it's probably it's a great time to get a new job. So I don't know what kind of job you're talking about, Matthew. Maybe you want to jump on, and I keep telling you jump on and explain. But good afternoon, gentlemen. I didn't see that comment. Well, good afternoon to you, Matthew. It is a little bit past 4:00 here, so I know it is definitely a good afternoon at this point. You're gonna say something, Christian, before Matthew's comments. I think. I don't know if I cut you off.
No. Just jumping into the next point. And I think, it's not being afraid to, spend some money on marketing or advertising. Obviously, one thing is organically letting your customers know what's happening. But I feel like a big misconception is that you build an online store, you let your customers know that you have this available, and all of a sudden you're going to get all these sales and all this traffic, which and that's not the case. You have to spend some time and money on marketing and advertising your store, in order to be able to, get some business from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can jump on that here in a second. I see we do have somebody who's trying to jump in. We will let them on real quickly. And they should be coming on. Okay. Helen, can you hear us? Awesome. So, all right. Thanks for jumping in. What question do you have, or how can we help you?
I had a question more regarding, because we're in the service industry, and we're trying out we're providing like free online music classes via our Facebook page. But I was wondering if you guys have any suggestions on possible vendors to use, if we can somehow like sell subscriptions of online virtual like music classes, instead of like currently we're recording the videos and we're like broadcasting it via like Facebook live stream. But I'm just wondering whether or not you're aware of any like services or websites or like software out there that can allow us to like sell like monthly memberships or something of online classes.
Awesome. Yes, that is definitely possible. I don't know if I can definitely expand on that. I don't know, Christian, if you're thinking maybe anything specifically like product wise. I think that's the biggest thing right now, is which like website or product suite could technically offer that a lot easier than try to build something from scratch.
Yeah, so I think something like Teachable, it's like the first thing that came to my mind. We were talking about a course, and part of a subscription type payment structure, which, I mean, there's probably also a few other Teachable alternatives out there. So just typing in, Teachable alternatives, might run into some other things. But I think, I mean, as far as the payment, my other thought process was, you have Teachable and you have the ability to just have everything set up for you. You don't have to worry about a lot of different moving parts. But the other thing would be just to, build something from scratch. And my thought process would be, Stripe, for example, which is just the payment processing side of things, has the ability to handle subscription type transactions, right? So you can have different packages and people can purchase those packages and they will be billed automatically for that. But then on top of that, you would have to build a website, to handle the videos, or maybe some sort of private Facebook group that once they start paying for the subscription, then you just allow them to be included in this private Facebook group where you're giving out the lessons. And inside of private Facebook groups, you have the ability to do different units. So if you're, dividing these lessons into different units, you can do that. But yeah, I think those are the two main alternatives that came to my mind, with something like Teachable, or just doing something a little bit more from scratch, maybe building a website with a Stripe integration, or just literally just using Stripe as a means to process payments, and then using something like Facebook groups to handle and store your videos, and then the ability for you to let in, let out your customers based on when they subscribe or they unsubscribe.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Helen, there is, like they said, to Christian's point, like the alternatives to Teachable, but I believe that Facebook is actually, it's probably not something that's available now, but Facebook is working on something where inside of Facebook groups, you could start charging for memberships, like what you're talking about. Something a little bit more advanced would be something like Kajabi, where you could actually have that to go and purchase. I think even Shopify would have an opportunity for you to do like a one-page website and do something like Christian's saying, where you just purchase a subscription, and you could do it that way. So I think that's the biggest thing that we would suggest is to use something like Stripe, where you set up the subscription and you would go in there and you would create the product, and then like say for example, if they did like how are you charging? Like, is it like each month that somebody gets like all access to everything, or like is it specific ones, or how are you having that set up?
I'm still giving it more thought, but probably a monthly subscription, and then they would get like a weekly class. But I think the Facebook private group idea sounds great, because I think we can just schedule like live casts into the private group, like once they're allowed access into the groups. So that might be just like an easy method of getting started while we do more research into like other types of software or platforms to host the videos or whatnot. So
yes. Yeah, that's going to definitely be your fastest way. I mean, you could get a Facebook group up and running in a day, and then the Stripe thing, they have really good support and tutorials and FAQs and stuff, and people have already done what you're asking, so that we could be able to find online pretty quickly as well. So you just need to tell people now that this is available, and then let them know how they can do that. And I think that you can ask questions. You can't ask questions before a group, but you may also be able to put a link in there. So say like, hey, I'm requesting access to this group. Great. Make sure that you've done this subscription, or like, hey, make sure that you can show proof that you've paid for the subscription, and then you let them into the group. So yeah, that's probably going to be your fastest way to get online for sure.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate you jumping on here. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Okay, awesome. I think okay, I think we had another comment. I thought we had another comment, maybe not. And Jack was able to put Helen up on the top there, which is good. If anybody else is jumping in live, just go ahead and hit that Zoom link, and you can come in here and ask a question specific to your business, or leave a comment below. It was kind of nice to have Helen on here just because she could ask questions back and forth, so we could get clarification, so a little bit better hands-on for that. And before we had Helen, we were talking a little bit about social media. And to recap, we were saying that, and Christian mentioned that people, you can tell them, like we mentioned, you want to tell all your organic traffic that you are online, but it's not necessarily going to give you, if you have hundreds of thousands of followers, that is amazing. It's probably going to do pretty well. But for most people like us, maybe you have a couple thousand followers, they're not all going to see it. So it's going to be beneficial for you to start paying the social media platforms to do it. And the reason we suggest that is not because we're just a marketing agency, but also because right now costs are ridiculously cheap. So you can get in front of people for basically half off. So instead of paying $10 to reach 1,000 people, you could spend 5 or 6 and reach the same amount of people. And it's just a really good opportunity for you to get in front of people, but it allows you to spread in front of potential customers who would have never found you before. So I think that's just our biggest point, is to make sure that you're not afraid to spend money on it, because it's cheaper now, and I don't know what the alternative would be.
Yeah, and you think about these online stores, and I mean, there's two things that you have to consider. Is one, attracting traffic right to your store, and then actually having people purchase, once they're actually in your store, actually have them purchase something. So straight advertising would be, making people go to your store. Actual marketing and figuring out discounts or free shipping and different things like that. Even like Shopify has a lot of different apps and plugins that you can play around with that allow you to, you've probably seen this, where it has like a spin the wheel, and it gives you like, free shipping or 10% off or $20 off. So there's a lot of different things with marketing that you can do inside of Shopify. That doesn't mean that you have to necessarily run ads from Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. But doing that and spending money on marketing and advertising is something crucial to make your store flourish, especially during these times.
Yes. I was going to ask one other thing about social media too is, and something that I was on a live stream, or no, it was a Zoom call, I guess, yesterday. I was just listening because as I was doing some stuff. And one thing that he was saying, is a pretty smart guy, is that at the bare minimum, if you are not going to advertise on social, which we highly suggest you do, just even $1 a day is going to do so much for you, just boosting a post or something. Facebook already tells you, hey, you can reach 2,000 people. Well, you should do that.
Yeah.
But as a side note, you should be going live. Obviously, we're going live right now, but you should go live more frequently. Honestly, if we could, we probably would. Not make an excuse. We could plan it. But going live more often, going live on Facebook is a really good way for you to reach all of your audience and reach even more people and share it. There's technically no data right now that going live on Instagram is as valuable as going live on Facebook. And I think it's just because you see it now during the pandemic, a lot more people go live, but prior to that, there wasn't a ton of them anyway. So there wasn't really, it wasn't as big of a push for something like that versus Facebook, where you do see a lot more live and you do know that you're going to get a little bit more spread. So at the bare minimum with social, please spend $1 a day. It's very simple to do that. Spend $30, $60 a month to get your name out there. But in addition to that, if you can't do that, at least go live and add value to your customers. You could do product reviews. If it's your water bottle, I don't know if you can see my water bottle. It could be your coffee. It could be your clothing. Doesn't matter what it is, but do like product reviews and just go live and interact with your customers, because it's going to get spread. And that's like the bare minimum if you're not going to do like any paid traffic at all. So that's just a suggestion, or like a little tidbit on top of that, I guess, for the social side.
My aunt Arlene says her profession is mental health, and we're trying to give services online. That's kind of tricky, but I think there are, and I'm just saying tricky because of HIPAA rules and laws. But I mean, I believe there are, actual. For example, we talked about Teachable earlier. I believe there are apps and different platforms that already are able to handle transactions, scheduling, and even video teleconferencing, where it's just all packaged up, and it's just a lot easier to use than trying to, I guess, build a website to handle all these things, and on top of that, be able to still follow, HIPAA laws and regulations and things like that.
Do you know if she's doing one-on-one or if it's more of like a group setting? I'm curious if you could comment below. That'd be good information, because if you're doing one-to-many, like even something like Zoom would technically be like, I think, possible. I don't know necessarily if it has to do HIPAA compliant. That's a good question to research. But if you're talking in generalities of people who have questions, then it's not specific to that person. So to my knowledge, which is a very slim here, do not take advice from the doctor who's not a doctor. You'd have to look at it. But to my understanding, you could talk in generalities. It's just like a doctor who's showing up to a high school graduation is telling you, like, here's general advice or like things to help with what's going on. But if you're doing one-on-one, I think that gets a little bit more dicey. So I'm just more curious if it's one-on-one or if it's a group setting, or because you could be doing workshops and webinars if it's a group setting, and one-on-one would, I don't know. There's definitely, I think WebEx is HIPAA compliant. I think their interface is absolutely really bad, but I'm pretty sure that they're HIPAA compliant, and you could do one-on-one stuff that way. We may have to come back to it if she's able to listen and tell us, because I think that could also change our answer a little bit, or we'd be able to give a little bit better advice for it. Mm-hmm. So that's a good question, though. Is there another question? Oh, no. I just keep seeing Matthew's name on there because it's twice telling us good afternoon. All right. Our last thing that we have planned anyway, we definitely, if you're jumping in live, I see that there's obviously people jumping in and out. So if you are watching, please leave a comment. At the very least, just like or comments. That way we know. And if you have a specific question, make sure to jump on the Zoom link. We had Helen come on. It was a really good conversation and hopefully helped her out. So it'd be good for us to go back and forth with you about that. The last little bit of advice we have for you to help take your business from offline to online is realize that it's not going to happen overnight. And I think that's probably the most important. We probably maybe should have led with that. I don't know. Or it could be last because it is the most important, which is you're new to this. You probably haven't ever done anything like it. It's a different time in this world. So you got to give yourself some grace in the sense that you can't expect it to just do amazingly out the gate. That being said, there are people who are doing crazy good out the gate and are actually doing better than what they were with the brick and mortar store. So it's possible, but you need to give yourself the grace to mess up and potentially not let it be perfect and realize that this is new and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts. But at least you're doing something, you're trying something. I think the only time you really fail with this is when you're not trying something new. Failing would be waiting for another 2 or 3 months and watching your business suffer because you didn't try to do something online or try to find an alternative. So I think that's probably the most important piece of advice, I would say. That's just me personally. I don't know.
Don't give up. Yeah. Something that, I mean, I comes to mind right now, and it's something that I think every business needs to consider when they're talking about, not every business, majority, because we talked about in the beginning, you don't have to necessarily do shipping, but I think shipping is something very important. And I think I would highly recommend to look into free shipping. It's probably the most maybe stress-free for the client. It's easier for the client as well to make a purchase if they see that it's free shipping, right? It's that mental block of seeing $2 on shipping versus the item being $2 more expensive, and they never know that those $2 are actually for shipping. So I would say that I think shipping is something that's important and it's something to consider. And I would definitely look into ways to add free shipping and just add that price, the average price point to your products, or just having a sort of fixed, shipping cost that will eventually just average out from all your orders. But that's something also to consider. I think shipping is pretty important, and there's a lot of different options out there, a lot of different things that you can do with shipping. Obviously, I think free shipping is the best thing that you could probably do. But I mean, to some people it might make sense. Other people shipping very heavy items, that might not make sense. So.
Right. And you kind of, I don't know, I think like to your point, Jack ordered something today. I was talking with him about it and I was like, free shipping. Sweet. It's 3-day free shipping or paying for priority. Some people do need it faster, so they'll pay for the priority side. So just make sure that you make enough that you're not going to lose off shipping. But then the people who need it really quick, you can make them pay for that because it's possible. And people are used to paying a lot of money for fast shipping. But it is definitely the number one reason, or if not one, top 3 reason that people don't purchase online. And honestly, I think Christian and Ryan were working on an issue with one of our clients who just didn't have a really good grasp of how to handle their shipping. And it was causing their business to just get a couple orders per month. And once they fixed that, so they were doing a standard flat fee, but the standard flat fee was a lot because they didn't want to lose money on the big products, but then somebody who was going to buy a product would have to pay almost double for shipping than the actual product, and that just didn't make sense. So they did a calculated shipping, which for something like Shopify is available through an app or something. But so yeah, figuring out your shipping is probably number one. Get your products on there and then figure out how you can deliver them effectively to people, because that is a big hang up, especially if your competition is doing free shipping and you're not, and you're similar pricing. I mean, if it's almost the exact same product, they're going to go with the free shipping. It's not like people, what I was going to say, they do research, and they do a lot of research. Usually the more expensive it is, the more research they're going to do. So if your product is, I would say 75 and above, which is no longer like an impulse buy, depending on who you're talking to. If it's no longer an impulse buy, they're going to do some research and just check a couple more websites to see if the price is similar. So it would behoove you to make sure that you check your competition to make sure that if they're doing free shipping and stuff, you're not losing customers who just go to your site and they realize and they found you first, but then they're like, somebody else has a better deal, I'm going there. Yep. All right. That was a good little.
So I think that's it. That's all we have for today.
It is perfect too, because I was saying 45 minutes, unless somebody jumps in, and we'll talk as long as we need to. But yeah, huge shout out for all the people who left comments. So I mean, really, Helen and Matthew left multiple for us, and then we got a lot of likes and everybody. So thank you guys for liking, at least letting us know that you're here. That helps us. That way Christian and I aren't just talking to each other in Andy's room and in the middle of Jurassic Park by ourselves. Yeah, a little scary here. So, but if you're watching after replay, you get this far into it, you guys have questions, anything like that, drop them below. We get notifications. Facebook's nice about that. We'll happily answer your question, or if it requires more in depth, we can record a little quick video for you or something like that to explain. But just make sure you get those questions answered. Don't just sit back there and do nothing. That's our biggest thing that we want to express here, is that you should be taking action and getting something done, figuring out a way to take your business online.
Yep.
All right.
I don't have anything else.
No, me neither. Awesome.